Welcome to Studio 23, a presentation of Cable 23 Community Television. I'm Carol, and tonight our guest is Phyllis and Manny Loyacono, universally known as Unipop. Welcome to Studio 23, Phyllis and Manny.
Thank you. We're really glad to be here.
Tell me something, how can two people that sing so beautiful together in unison find each other in this world? How did you meet?
Well, we met a few years ago. Phyllis was auditioning for a Body and Soul review that I was putting together out of New York. And Phyllis was the first person to audition. And as soon as I saw her, I fell in love. It was, love at first touch. And
well, I had actually been working as a receptionist at a hotel in Philadelphia at the time, and Manny was also working in Philadelphia, and I was singing, locally, and he was singing and so forth. And when I found out about this review, I decided that I knew I wanted to go into singing, and this was the perfect opportunity to seize while it was there. So
Were you interested in music before this, or?
both of us.
Yes, sang all our lives.
Yeah.
both
Manny
of us.
started out really in opera a long time ago.
Oh.
Then went into clubs and things like that. And Phyllis worked on Children's Hour when she was about 5 years
Yeah.
old.
Really?
Yeah.
So you've been in entertainment altogether all your lives, and just
Mhm.
about. I think there's a special thing about people that I would say have the nerve to go into it, because it's a very competitive and hard business. Got to really be good.
You have to love it. You have to
Yes.
love music if that's the end of entertainment that you're in, and you have to love performing. And
You have to love to, or learn to live with rejection, and you know, as far as the ups and downs in it. and-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
But that's
was
part of your
another thing
motivation.
Mhm.
that I was going to ask you about too. I understand you're married. Not only do you sing beautifully in unison, you're actually united as one legally. How does a marriage work when two people share the same career? I mean, I know you see each other 24 hours a day. How could a marriage like that possibly work?
It really is 24 hours a day because,
is.
you know, from the time we get up, we're together, you know, but we know enough to give each other time to get away when we need it.
Mhm.
And,
The space.
yeah, space, exactly. You know, when the trees are too
Close together, or
you
the
know,
columns are too
there's
close,
too
the
much
roof will
shade,
fall.
nothing will grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Exactly.
we allow each other this space, but at the same time, when Manny brought up rejection before, you know, you go through an awful lot of that, especially trying to have a career in recording. And whenever we would come home after a particularly hard day, we'd have each other to console one another, and we'd both been through it. We could go over everything that happened in a conversation with somebody word for word, because what I didn't remember, Manny would, and you know, the other way around.
So
Or
if you really
interpret it
love
in
it.
two different ways and then come up with you know, what it was all about.
Mm-hmm.
If you-
Takes a
you
lot
know.
of the pressure off also when you have someone
Does
to
it?
talk to about it, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
I see
amazing.
what you mean.
It
Then
really
in your
does.
case, it would be ideal then.
Mm-hmm.
Statistics showing a lot of couples that have the same career that see each other all day long, they can't get along together. So I guess in your case, you've really got to love what you do and really have a good, strong relationship, and that's good.
Yeah, it makes the relationship get stronger too, you know, and then when you start seeing the rewards of what you've been fighting for so long, you can really appreciate it and enjoy it
Mhm.
together.
And you fight together. That's
Oh.
good.
And fight together.
Yeah, fight together. Do you have any children?
Two.
Two. How do you
Yeah.
find time for a family?
Well, it gives us a lot of variety as far
Does
as our home life is concerned. Our children are a very big part of our lives, and we involve them in our music as much as we can. You know, they're studio conscious. They've been in recording studios. And,
Really?
Especially
Take
the
'em
older
with you?
one.
Yeah.
How old
he's-
are they?
Well, our son Vito is 6, so when he was just a baby, we were recording in small studios and so forth quite a lot, and he learned to walk over wires and, you know,
Oh.
not to touch instruments.
That's good. So how long have you been together?
We've been together about 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
And singing in the music career the whole time, right?
Well,
Or-
it was a creative experience, among other things. Right from the very beginning, you know, two minds going in the same direction. It's makes it a lot better and twice as fast.
I was listening to that last song, Here We Are. That was really interesting, and it seemed to have a message in it. Was there a message, or did I imagine
No,
that?
there was. Here We Are was. We wrote really with the thought in mind of dedicating it to one of our producers, Sonny Limbo. When we were working toward getting a recording contract, he really took us under his wing, taught us how to write songs, commercial
I see.
songs, and
Taught us what not to do. as
taught
far
us
as
what
I know.
not to do, yeah. This was after, you know, a lot of people knew what we wanted to do, but didn't know what direction to put us into to do it. And Sonny understood what we were going after and the concept that we were going after, and he really worked with us. And so we wrote Here We Are and
Oh, you
dedicated
wrote
it
that.
to him. In fact, on the album, there's a little asterisk with Here We Are, Dr. Limbo, which is what we called him. You know,
Oh,
like
that's
the medicine
Sonny
man.
Limbo?
Yes.
Yeah, because of you, because he really did influence our career greatly.
That's good. What about when you're writing the songs? Do you have any problems with reaching out to different groups? You know, it's kind of hard to put into words, but a lot of times writers will write a song about love and it's either negative or it's only to one group.
Well, that's the whole idea behind our music, is that it's positive, and we try to keep it as uplifting as possible because we really feel good about life and about our situation and hopefully the whole world, you know.
For such a long time, I'd say at least over the past 10 or 15 years, music has been so very negative because of, for example, the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And then, you know, all the political things that have happened since, and terrorism and so forth. And people tend to write according to their environment at the time. And it seems that the songs that have been written during this period of time have, even if they're related to love, they're usually on the negative side of love as opposed to the good side, you know, of love. So we are trying to show that, you know, you can be in love and have a lot of fun, and you know, that magic that's there when you first meet can stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the title of one of your songs?
Yes, it
Yes,
is, isn't
it
it?
is.
Did you write that one too?
Yes, we did.
We wrote all the
Producer.
songs on the album.
Oh, okay.
We wrote
you
all
have
of them
a
with
new
songs.
album called UNILOVE, or is,
Mhm.
what is that? What's in the title? I know you
Well,
have a message and everything.
UNILOVE is you and I love, where
Oh,
every
that's
boy,
interesting.
where every girl, making UNILOVE all over the world. That's the one thing that we all share. That's all of our common ground, is we all
Make love.
make love.
Yeah.
That's
And,
interesting.
and it covers, that particular song covers every continent in
The
the
magic
world.
one?
No, this is
UNILOVE.
UNILOVE now.
UNILOVE, okay.
The
which
title
is-
song of the album.
It covers all the continents except for Antarctica. And, we figured
It's hard to make love up in Antarctica.
it's pretty cold up there. But
They'll find somewhere.
it
sure.
opens up with the three world powers, America,
Oh.
Russia, and
And, China.
China, right? In the other order, really, America, China, and Russia. And then it goes into Europe, certain countries in Europe, lovers, you know.
Mhm.
The stars over Berlin are free for all to see, for East and for West, for you and for me, where
Is
every
there a-
boy, where every girl.
That's nice.
It goes from
Is
the
there-
Mid-Eastern desert to the African plain to the
Really?
Australian bush.
Bush.
We're all one and the same. You know, it covers everyone and shows what we have in
Is there a
common.
political message in that also? Sometimes when writers put in all different countries, they throw in a political message or something else.
It's a world love song for
To
no matter
bring
where
everyone
you're from
together.
or what you're into or what your beliefs are. We're all the same that way,
Yeah,
and that's the most important way. You know,
right.
That's a good positive thing. A lot of writers need to develop that in their songs and to give a positive idea.
It's a
Because
lot,
we do have a lot of negative songs.
and it's a lot easier to write negative too.
Is it?
Because yeah, it seems that I guess because people, you could say that hatred and love are the same emotion, but
To one
hatred
extreme.
is one extreme and
And the
love
other.
is the other. And you know, when people argue and so forth, you can sit down. You have all that energy going inside of you, and it's very easy to sit down and write a negative song. But when you're happy, you're content and you're satisfied, so you're less inclined to sit down and write because you don't have all of that negative energy built
Inside
up
of
that you
you.
have to get rid of.
So basically all of your songs are just positive and about love things.
Mhm.
Why don't you sing another one for us?
Okay.
I'd love to.
What's the
love
title of this one?
This is the single that, our first single, which is released right now, this week as a matter of fact, called What If
What If?
I Said
I Love You. is the
Okay, well,
title.
what if you sing that for us right now? Okay?
We love to.
Good.
What if I broke down and cried for you? Would you put us back together, just as good as new? What if
Don't go away. We'll be right back. Well, Unipop, that was What If, right? Tell me a little bit about the message in that song or the words or something.
Well, What If is actually about two people that are having a problem in their relationship together, and they break up, and they both realize that they're still in love with one another, and all it takes actually is saying "I love you." That's basically what it's about. It's as easy as saying "I love you."
Seemed to be a real happy song, though. The
It
ending.
is. It is.
Positive,
a
like you
happy
said,
ending,
doesn't
It's
it?
got a happy ending.
So everything you do is positive then, because it started off with breaking up,
Mhm.
and then you bring in the positive things, and that's your message to the world, and
Mhm.
that's great. I also noticed something about that album altogether. Well, we've been talking about messages all night, but I have it here. Name is UNILOVE, like you said.
You and I.
You
love.
and I, or
Yeah, it's-
you
you're
and
right.
I love.
You and I love.
That's another hidden thing in there,
Mhm.
isn't it? I wanted you to tell me about the two of you here that are reaching for each other on a night. It looks like a starry night with a full moon.
It's
What is-
funny that you would say full moon, because when we photographed the album cover, we decided originally we were going to be passing the world
To one another.
to one another.
Uh-huh.
But during the shooting, we realized that there was no point in limiting it to the world. That ball could be anything
Oh.
that you might want it to be. And you interpreted it as a full moon, which is one of the things that it could be.
Yeah, that's what I always think of when you think of love. You think of the full moon and people joining together and everything. I
People
guess.
go crazy.
On
Yeah,
a
during
people
the
full
full
go
moon.
crazy.
Your blood
then.
runs faster on a full moon. We do a lot of things by the phases of the moon. Just like,
Really?
well, we follow Farmer's Almanac, and when we write, we'll write on the rise. And when we were mixing the album, we mixed on the decline, which, according to the Farmer's Almanac, the best time to weed your garden is when the moon is in the last phase.
If you have to have
That's really
surgery or
If you need
something like
surgery or
that,
anything like that.
you would have that done during the last phase of the moon. And we would, besides writing, during that rising period of the moon, we also recorded most of the basic vocal tracks and rhythm tracks on the album during the rise. You
That's
can't
gonna
always,
succeed.
Yeah, you can't
Exactly.
always, have it work
Play
out
anything
according
by
to
the
that.
moon.
But for as much control as we could have over it, we tried to do that.
What are these medallions that you have?
They're
On.
unicorns.
Unicorn
Mhm.
or
For
Unipop.
Unipop.
I get it.
Do you know the story behind the unicorn?
No, I don't.
You,
I see
tell
you're
it.
really
Right.
into
Tell
this.
the story.
The,
No, it's-
the unicorn, or finding the unicorn, actually, it dates back to where a fair young maiden would fall asleep in the forest, and the unicorn would come over and lie down and put his head on her lap, and that's how she would have good fortune or good luck.
Mhm. And also, it's and I guess almost extinct breed or whatever,
Yeah.
But
or some people say it's imaginary. It's a figment of your imagination, and some people feel that it is real. They're just awfully hard to capture, and
it reminds us that fairy tales can come true, and it can happen to you.
Speaking of things coming true, I know you said something about seeing a psychic about the words of your song or what
Well-
your message is or predictions or something. Tell me a little bit about that.
Jane Hudson, who's a Atlanta
she's
psychic.
well known.
she's
Yes.
well known, yes, and she's based in Atlanta, also, which.
She's supposed to be very good, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you don't mind telling our viewers, what did she say? Did she give you a positive future? Or?
Well, we met her
I guess about 6 years ago.
under a totally different circumstance, and
Uh-huh.
right then and there, she told us that we were going to be doing something entirely different and that our lives were going to change. And we had been involved in music all along, but under these circumstances, it was very unusual. And so far, she's been...
She said 6 years ago that she had specified to like 1981, 1982, we would be very heavily involved in recording, and that at the approach of 1982, going into 1983, we would have, she put it at that time, international.
Oh,
Be of international
universally.
appeal or something, you know, appeal or something like that. And
Well, there's your album.
well,
Yes.
it was really heavy because we didn't, you know, I mean, we knew that we wanted to do that, but she picked up on it without knowing anything about what we were doing at the time or what our expectations were then.
She didn't know about your songs or that you were in music. That's
Nothing.
pretty good.
Nothing at all.
How do you feel about that?
It freaked us out. It
We're
really
positive thinkers,
I
but
see
that did
that.
take us back.
I see.
She even predicted a while back that we're signed to Cat Family Records, and it's distributed by CBS International, again, which
did. Yeah.
reminded
You're
me of her
affiliated
saying
with CBS. and-
International through Cat Family Records here.
See.
Michael Sullivan and Joel Katz. And
Throughout our career, or you know, approaching this point in our career, we would call her every now and then and ask her opinion on things and so forth. And she was right on insofar as when we would mention a name to her, like Bill Lowry, for example,
A
who's
publisher.
a very well-known publisher.
and our
Yes,
executive
yes.
producer.
She said, "You will be writing for Bill Lowry," and
She told that
yeah.
too? Wow.
Something that we always wanted to do. We had his picture on our piano for years before we met him, you know.
For
and-
incentive,
neat.
yeah.
Yeah. And then we met Joel Katz from Cat Family Records and Michael Sullivan, who's the vice
General
president, I
manager
guess,
and-
general
So
He
you're
runs the
manager.
label.
basically with Cat Family Records and Bill Lowry Publishing.
Mhm.
Do you have another song? I know you've got a whole album. We'd love for you to sing the whole album for us. But if you pick one, just think of one that you like, and I want you, and I'm sure the viewers would like for you to sing it for us. What can you?
Do a song called Let's Make Magic.
Okay. Let's do it then. That's the name of it. Let's Make Magic.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, Unipop.
Let's
one the best. Come back over here. That was really great. You know, it's really been good having you here. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Yes, we have. We had a great time. It was magic.
Just
By the way, that's Butch Lowry's favorite song.
Have
Yes,
a seat
it is.
there. That's Butch Lowry. Oh, that's Bill Lowry's son, right?
Yes.
Butch
Mhm.
Lowry's.
Promoter
One of the people
extraordinaire.
promoting the record, along
I
with
wish
Mike
we had-
Martin from Cat Family Records.
I wish we had time to sing every song on that.
Okay.
I wish we did. I'd like to thank you for appearing on Studio 23.
Thank you very much for having us.
And we want to ask you to come back.
We'd
would
love to.
When? Anytime.
Okay, I don't know when though, but I would like to remind our viewers to tune in next week to Studio 23. Bye-bye.
Bye.